What is going on, everyone? Oh, hang on. Yes, Silent Troll, I am going to say something about that as soon as some more people get in here. But welcome, Victoria, Silent Troll, and May. Hope everyone is having a happy Monday. I might robot a little bit. My Wi-Fi is going in and out. So yeah, I was actually just I was bouncing back and forth between Mama T and Southern Girl earlier and like trying to prepare for this all at the same time. So I had to go back and listen to the end of Mama T. Woo! And then I was listening to a little bit of Not Today about responsible speech. Somehow the conversation took a turn, and instead of responsible speech, they started talking about stripper poles and rubber band money clips. Hello, Queen Ashley, mom of two, Penny Positive. So yeah, leave it to Mama T to like go live before me and get everyone in a tizzy with all this drama stuff, which should have never happened to begin with. And I said it in our chat, but of course, it got looked over. So I'm going to say it again. It is always good practice as a responsible creator, if you want to have even a semi-successful channel, verify everything before you start talking about it. And like sit on stuff, for a little while. You don't have to be so eager to come out and just blah, 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 blah about everything that someone tells you, because you will get an influx of crap from subs and viewers who think they have something all figured out, and then they send it to you. And if you don't take the time to like try to figure out what was their process, their thinking process that led them to that conclusion, or where are they getting these facts from? You just want to verify every little eensy teensy aspect of it. Because if you don't, then you end up with a situation like what we've seen for the last 2 days. Now, don't get me wrong. I love to laugh, and it did give me a giggle or two, because it's like, is this really happening? Because we just had this situation not too long ago with the same person, and it happens all the time. And I was like, I just got a notification for a channel called Ernie's World. Did he change the channel name again? He did. It's called Ernie's World. I can't. Oh gosh. Anyway, that threw me off. What was I even saying? Oh, with triple checking your facts. Like, don't even stop at triple checking it. Like, keep on checking it. Sit on it and see if you hear anyone else talking about it. Because chances are good if whoever told you something has probably said something to someone else. So if you don't hear anyone else talking about it, it's probably not true. Like, you have to look at, of all the people out here, is the person putting out the information the most logical person to go to when you have some bombshell thing to talk about? In this case, no. It was very obvious to me that someone was playing a game, and they got her twice. But what she put out is harmful. And I know everyone's going to say, oh, but you and other people are talking about rap and that's harmful. Well, the difference is rap has verbally admitted what he did 3 times. Whether he wants to accept the fact that he did that, even if he wants to say he was intoxicated, he still did it. Alcohol is like truth serum, right? Like, When someone's plastered and they're telling you about yourself, that's probably how they really feel. They just don't convey that to you when they're sober. If he would have just admitted it once and been like, oh, he's wasted, dude, then I would have been like, maybe, but doubtful. But the fact that he did it on two other occasions, one of the times he just laughed about, yes, Mama too. I can't wait till it changes to Ernest Goes to Jail too, because we will have a movie night. But the crap Mama T put out is, that's harmful. She needs to look at the obvious. It's no secret that there's friction between all of the people involved. So, is it coincidence that all of the people involved in this little plan are all of the people that have friction? No. It was set up. It was designed like that, Mama T. Girl, you have to be careful. You say you want to report on true crime and all of these awareness type issues. That's great. The world needs all the awareness it can get. But if you're not going to do it the right way, are you really doing anything beneficial? No, you're not. I get wanting to protect the victim. But this whole scenario is fishy from Jump Street. So I don't know what you need to do to get to a place of resolve where you can stop doing this. The first good step would be to just be leery of people that email you. Once your email address is out there, you're going to get all kinds of stuff. I've gotten all kinds of stuff. I've been sitting on stuff for months because I want to make sure that what's been told to me is factual. I'm not going to be irresponsible with the things that I say. I'm not out here getting involved in everybody's bullshit just for the fun of it. I might say a few snarky things in chats, but I have a sense of humor too. But this is just insanity. I know Ernie's World and Elmo's World. That Elmo's World song did pop into my head when I read that. When I got the notification, I was like, what the fuck? So he's live now. So everyone's over there trying to see what he's doing, because whatever. Hey, Dutchie, Dodie, Beth, anyone else who came in. We don't have a big, huge crowd here today. I didn't think that we would because when it comes down to it, we're wrapping up Essay Awareness Month. I wanted to end it on something positive because we've spent a lot of time talking about the negative. Does that mean he's off the hook with me? No. I'm still going to keep sharing those videos, and the people who put them out originally, they keep getting taken down, but that's okay. Because then they just put them back up and I just reshare them. It is what it is, right? There's no backpedaling from it. He admitted what he did. People are conflicted about it and torn, and there's still a select group of people who don't want to believe it's true. But you also have to look at his behavior now, like the things he's doing. Like what I'd be more impressed, maybe just a tiny bit, if he was documenting how he was bettering himself. But he's not going in any better direction than he was going in to begin with. So, screw him. And we're going to get right back on Ernie and talking about the trial. But even though Sexual Assault Awareness Month ended yesterday, the last month of April, it's always something you need to educate yourself on and be aware of, because even if you're never in that situation yourself, you never know who might come into your life that will be a victim of circumstance when it comes to SA. So, I firmly believe that people come into your life for a reason. I don't think that you cross paths with anyone accidentally. And if you just pay attention, and invest in these experiences that you have with people and just listen, you never know. You might have someone who was a victim years ago who finally sees something in you that allows them to open up and tell you about their experience. It's always best to prepare yourself and know what resources are readily available out there. And I shared a video on my channel. It is about the RAINN pep rally. RAINN Day is coming up. And so it's like a 20 something minute video. And it tells you a little bit about what their seminars and things are going to be like this year, because they have active workshops where you can participate in activities. And it's similar to some of the things they just hook you up with, like if you were to just call their hotline. But I am going to show a really quick video about RAINN. And RAINN does have its own channel. Hang on one second. I'll put it in the link for you. Everything's running so slow today. Well, crap. All right. It's coming. It's coming. Okay. There is the link for their channel. So where you can stay up to date on any future events they have coming up. Sometimes, they might be in your area, and it's a chance for you to go in person and talk with some people and just get information, local resources, things like that. They're really good about having people on staff, volunteers that will help you find resources in your area, because when you're going through a traumatic experience like that, you don't always have the forethought and the wherewithal in how to cope. And sometimes finding the energy to even look up resources on your own is nearly impossible for some victims. And they don't just handle like your average SA victims. These are people who may have fallen prey to trafficking, things like that. And they really are with you for the long term. I actually found a therapist through them that helped me, because I had gone through a few, and none of them were really doing the job. And so they were able to hook me up with a really good one, and it helped a lot. It got me where I am today. And I'm not perfect by any means, but I'm happy with who I am and with what I put out into the world. My goal is to make a positive difference. But, even when you're trying to make a positive difference, it doesn't mean you can always be nice or say all the things that everyone wants you to say. Sometimes you got to say the tough things. And the reality is I think that lately people have been taking this situation that we've all been privy to and really made light of it and acted like it's not a big deal. I also did a community post over the weekend, and I said we would talk a little bit about that today, and so we will. I put up a poll, and it was the first poll I've ever done. But I put up a poll explaining that at Woodstock 99, there were 4 reported rapes that people actually reported to law enforcement. There were numerous, countless other sexual assaults happening right in front of everybody, right out in the open. One of the places where this happened most often was in the overnight hours at what they called the rave hangar. And if anyone's ever been to a rave, you know exactly what I'm talking about. People were just handing out drugs, ecstasy, acid, meth, whatever. It was all there. And people were indulging quite a bit. So things happen. Like, even in the documentary that I watched, you could see like women crowd surfing, and they're just getting their shirts pulled up and all these hands touching them. And it's on my community page, Scapegoat. The poll is, I don't know how to do one in chat, but yeah, it's on my community page. So if you want to run and take a look at it real quick. And so I gave a little scenario of what took place, and then I asked people in that situation, do you think that it was the victim's fault that happened? Because I knew people were torn. I've heard so many people say, well, she should have got up and walked away, or she should have kicked him out long ago. Well, nobody sees this coming, especially when it happens with an intimate partner, someone you feel safe with. And so I wanted to see what people thought. 7% of everyone thought that it was a little of both, yes and no, being the victim's fault. And I imagine their line of thinking is, well, they did have the ability to just get in their car and leave. Or if they weren't so messed up, this wouldn't have happened. Or, all those little things. I knew that's where people's minds would go. I wish that more people would have explained a little more in the comments, because when I talk about stuff, that's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, y'all's opinions too. I don't want everyone to just agree with me. And if you don't agree with me, let me know. We can talk it out, because I'm not always right. A lot of times, I am just sharing my opinion, but in situations like what we've just experienced, it's pretty black and white. You had an incident, and you had an admission on 3 separate occasions. So half the work is already done for investigators, should this ever make it that far. And that's what I want people to understand. Her statement is enough to open an investigation. And it has to be her statement. As much as so many people have just wanted to call law enforcement and play the phone calls or whatever, I know that people have felt that in their gut and in their heart of hearts. If people are angry, they're disappointed, they're hurt, let's not just think about the victim. We got to think about all the people that supported him. And, this sucked. He had one lady who was such a strong supporter of her. And when she announced that she had to leave, it literally broke my heart, because she was his number one fan. I mean, she was always in the chats and always so happy to be there and so proud of him, and just always being so upbeat and telling him, you got this, we love you, blah, blah, blah. It was just, she was there for him. She helped him a lot monetarily. She was constantly giving him super chats and cash apps and all kinds of stuff. And it literally tore her to pieces when this crap happened. So you also have to think about those people's feelings. When something like rape or any type of SA or any DV incident or just anything huge like that, it doesn't just take its toll on just those 2 people. It affects a lot of people. I've heard so many people say we're like family on this channel or in this group and things like that. And that's great. I like it when I can see so many people come together and get along, and then when you have your situations where nobody can get along, yes, that's one great big human behavior experiment. And that's interesting to watch too. But let's be honest here with what we're looking at in this situation. You have this guy who doesn't own anything. He doesn't own anything. He's not out here driving around filling out job applications trying to figure out how he can better himself. He's a very in the moment kind of person, and maybe that works for some people. I don't have that type of personality. I have to plan and prepare and things like that. That's just how I'm wired. But what happens when this ends? What happens when the handful of people that you have actively talking in your chat get bored? Yes, the beach is beautiful. But you have to look at the content of what you're talking about while you're taking these beautiful beach strolls. You're being a little asshole. And it blew my mind when he said that Smokey took away his ability to bond with his child because she kept the PS5. If your only way to bond with your child is through PS5, there's a bigger issue at hand than just you not having the PS5. There was no PS5 when I was growing up, and my parents bonded with me. So quit making excuses, get your ass off the beach, and quit throwing back fruity little drinks, and get your shit together. Prove everyone wrong that is judging you. And I'm responsibly speaking right now. So, yeah, he does need to go to his child. He's traveling all over, Jacksonville beaches. Hey, Rap, go downtown to 5 Points. There used to be a really cool club down there called Club 5. You'd love it. Although, funniest story about Club 5, when I lived in Jacksonville, it was just a big old rave that happened every Friday and Saturday. And I remember I paid $25 to get in that bitch one night. And I was going to see Dub Tribe. And we're like standing there waiting. And they just had some local DJ up there opening up. And we're standing there waiting. And all of a sudden, the lights go out. And there was the main part of the club, then there was a balcony area. Well, then down on the side of the stage, there was this little hallway, and you went down these steps and it went to this little underground room. And we were walking down that hallway and all the lights went out, and all of a sudden we start seeing flashlights. Oh my gosh, the place got raided. It was crazy. I was just there to listen to music. All right, so I am going to play this video. It's called All the Difference, and it is from RAINN's channel. So I'm going to mute out, and then hopefully I can remember how to do this right.
A friend's birthday, and she'd invited some acquaintances.
He gave me all the attention I wasn't getting at home.
The damage can be so devastating that it affects every part of your life.
You don't breathe, you don't sleep, so you feel that you're locked in a jail.
I'm 300 pounds, biker, MMA fighter. It can happen to anybody.
It's difficult to trust yourself after you've been assaulted, let alone to trust anyone else. I didn't know what it would look like if I called a hotline. I didn't know what it would look like if I, talked to a legal advocate.
The hotline that RAINN maintains is a great first step, first call. Somebody wants to get help, wants to know what's out there, wants to get what happened to them off their chest.
There's so many resources, and there's so much help and love and so many good people that want to help.
Sometimes it's good to have somebody impartial who doesn't know you and who isn't going to judge you, and somebody who isn't going to be shocked by your story.
You can call one time or multiple times, and no one has to know your name, age, sex, culture, or anything, but they understand what you're going through. And once you tell your story, you're going to become a part of a community of not only victims, but survivors.
The more I tell my story, the more empowered I feel.
Every day I get up and choose to be, a healed person, and I choose to be a survivor.
Simply hearing one person tell me that they understood made all the difference to me.
So yeah, that's a little about RAINN. And I'm going to hop over on my phone to their website, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it. But did you notice at the end, it said it's never too late. It's never too late to get help. So that means, I know a lot of people have said, well, it was this amount of time, so it didn't happen. They're making it up or whatever. And that's not the case. Everyone is on their own time frame of when they reach out for help, and there's no guidelines. There's no deadline for someone to get to a point of being comfortable enough to talk to someone. It's not an easy thing to talk about, and we have to be mindful of that. I know Mama T kept pushing the point, she was really trying to drive it home that, she's always going to believe the victim first. Yes and no. You still have to take the time to verify, and if it's something like that, of that magnitude, you need to get on it with verification. You just, like, your brain automatically has to start calling things into question. Okay, has this person ever reached out to me before? When did this supposedly happen? Have I reached out to the people that are being accused personally and questioned this? Is this person willing to verify something themselves? In this case, pictures. It would have been real simple if this person was legit and they had these pictures. It would need to be a picture with, a verifying feature, preferably a face, anything, a tattoo. But there was nothing, there was none of that. And this just comes on the heels of so much other chaos and animosity that she has against people. And it comes on the heels of, a big fallout with another group of people. And it's just, Mama T, people are trying to make a joke out of you is what is happening. And I hate to put it so bluntly, but they're trying to make a fool of you. And when you keep doing stuff like this constantly, that's exactly what it's doing. So fight for yourself and don't let that happen. Be better, do better. If you want your channel to work out, you need to let all this bullshit go. Focus on the things that matter and just don't rely on anyone else's research. I always tell people I'm a one-woman show. Yes, I will take in information from people, but I'm going to be the one that researches it myself. I'm going to go back and double check everything, because if I put something out that's wrong, that's my responsibility. I'm not going to get up here and say, well, so-and-so gave me the information. I'm not going to pass the buck. I'm going to take accountability. because that's my job as a creator. Coming on here and just BSing with y'all or, giving my opinions about a situation, that's no big thing. I'm just usually off the cuff with that. But when it comes to serious stuff, I'm always going to check my facts. And you have to, because you have people's lives in the palm of your hands when you run your mouth about stuff like this and it's not true. And it happens all the time. People just, banter back and forth and be like, well, yeah, well, this person did this and this person did that. You can usually tell what those situations are. But you hopped on here pretty sure of yourself and was ready to go balls to the wall over something that wasn't even real. And then to make matters worse, you just followed that up with going balls to the wall, blaming someone for it. Well, this is who sent me the emails. I didn't see any, and I'll go back and watch more closely because I was laughing. People were making funny jokes. They were saying funny things in chat, and I just had the giggles. But I'll go back and I'll read all the emails you showed more carefully. But I didn't see anything in there that led me to believe that it was without a shadow of a doubt Southern Girl. It didn't add up to me. And those are the things you should have looked at, especially when you had 73 messages back and forth between you and this person. That's a lot of messages to not ask the right questions and get your facts straight. And I know you said you sat on it for a little bit, but did you say you sat on it for like 24 hours? Because that's not enough time. And it was convenient that you just happened to get the email today saying, oh no, I was just trolling you. Like it just seemed too neat and packaged up. So just be aware. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, Mama T, but you got to be aware of stuff like this because more often than not, we've seen you get on here and fall on your face when it comes to presenting things. I'm just trying to help a girl out. I offered you my help once before and you were not responsive to it. So this is me trying to help you out with what little I can. But you can't keep doing this to people and then wonder why everyone's so pissed off. So getting back to RAINN. Has anyone had a chance to just go look around their website? I know a lot of us are familiar with it because we've used it for resources on cases and things like that. Yes, people do rush things way too fast. And there's no need. There's no need to do that. What I do, and this is kind of nerdy, but like I always make sure I have like a notebook readily available at all times because like when I'm washing the dishes or doing laundry or just laying there trying to go to sleep at night, I think of like questions about things that I have and I just write it down so I don't forget. And then the next day, I go through it and try to answer all the questions. I have a lot of unanswered questions in all my notes because it's a constant learning process if you're going to do things the right way. So RAINN is a national sexual assault hotline. It's free, confidential, just like the video said. It's available 24/7, 365 days a year. There's never going to be a time that you need someone and they won't be there for you. You can call them at 1-800-656-HOPE, or if you go to their website, which is just RAINN.org, there's a little box you can click on that says chat now. So RAINN statistics say that every 68 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted. Every 9 minutes, that victim is a child. I just watched a movie yesterday. I had seen it a while back, but I just, sometimes when I come on to talk about stuff like this, I have to really, because it is hard for me to talk about as a survivor. I have to kind of get myself in that headspace. And, none of this has been easy. I know that sometimes it hasn't been easy for people to listen to. It can be triggering. So yesterday I watched this movie just to like get me good and angry again. And it's on Prime Video. It's called 8 Days. And it's the story of, in the movie, it takes place out of Texas, and it's about child trafficking and different scenarios of how that child got in that situation. So you have one girl who is a foster child who basically ran away from their most recent foster home from being abused. You had a little girl who was probably about 6 at the time, and you see this guy come in her living room and she sells her daughter to this gang. And then you have another situation where it's just your average 16-year-old high school kid who is in a very sheltered family. They don't really give her a lot of freedom out with friends. And so there was this one night where she really wanted to go to a party with this kid she knew from school. And the kid, I guess, for whatever reason, he was tied to some other kids at school who were like the more popular kids. Well, they ended up at this party and they got her wasted. And the people she originally rode with left her at this party with this, like, perfect white collar guy who is in the business of selling people. And he sold her to the same gang. So all these 3 girls cross paths and end up being put to work by this gang of traffickers. And I don't know, the fact that it took place in Texas is really close to me. And so, I have 2 daughters. I have an 18-year-old and a 9-year-old. And so the world's a scary place, and you never know who's going to be out there that wants to do you harm. So RAINN not only helps you after the fact, like I said, they're always there for you through every step of the process. You can always check in. There's ways you can volunteer and get involved. You can work the phone center. You can, distribute educational materials. You can attend some of the events and work the booths. There's just so many things you can do. And if you can't be there physically to help, there is a spot, if you go to rainn.org, that you could donate right on the website. It is a nonprofit organization, so they're not in this to make money. They're in this to make people's lives better. There is a section on the website called RAINN News where it lets you know all of the current events they have going on. Like I said, I shared the video of RAINN Day that's coming up. You can go on their website and look up SA laws in your state. It's all right there for you. You just go in and click on your state. There's stories from other survivors, and they, can be very helpful when you are at a low point in your process or just starting out. You can go on there and hear stories from other survivors, and it lets you really get a good view and see that you're not alone. You're not the only person that's gone through this. You won't be the last. And maybe one day you'll feel strong enough to write your story, and it'll be on the website to help other people. It's the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization. To date, there's no other organization that is larger than them. They educate the public. They improve public policy, which means their representatives, whenever there's new laws or new bills that they're trying to get put into effect, they will go and speak on behalf of all of you survivors. So they're really the voice for everyone nationwide, and they're constantly working. They do consulting and training, and it's just, there's so much. They have special events dealing with PTSD, how a safe helpline can provide this support. to the community during disclosure, navigating the holidays, the 5-year anniversary of Me Too. That's all in the news section of the website. There's a section for warning signs for child sexual abuse. So if you ever think that it could be happening to your child or a child you know, they give you tips on what to look for. They help you with like how to start opening up that conversation, you know, the steps to take if you have a child that's in that situation. I'm going to say that there's really nothing that they can't do or that they won't do on behalf of survivors everywhere. And anyone who knows me knows I'm a huge Tori Amos fan, and she is one of the co-founders of RAINN. And if you go look on their channel, there's some cool videos of her from like 94, you know, and it's just cool to go back and look at all that stuff. But yes, I've been a huge supporter for RAINN for a long time. And I'm going to read you one more thing. We're finishing earlier than I thought we would. 88 cents of every dollar goes to helping survivors and preventing sexual violence. That's a large chunk of money that goes right into giving back. So they're not in it to make a huge amount of money, right? They're keeping 22 cents to pay the bills. I can live with that. You talk a lot in your sleep, scapegoat. My daughter talks in her sleep. I snore like a truck driver. I snore so loud. I wake myself up sometimes. So did everyone have a good weekend? I had an amazing weekend. I pretty much logged off. I like checked into things here and there, but I didn't even really go in Discord that much, and it was great. My oldest daughter, middle child, is about to graduate high school, so that's nerve-wracking. And then have field day coming up with my little one. And my oldest is grumpy because he's finally realized that being an adult isn't everything he thought it would be. Oh, it rained there, Dutch. It didn't rain here. It was kind of cold on Saturday. But it's pretty warm here today. I think it's like almost 80. I have the back door open again so the dogs can go in and out. Because if I lock them in here with me, the pit's going to bark. Because he wants to sit in my lap. He's a big baby. And then when I put him outside and shut the door, he stands right at the back door, and he's not a little boy. He's a big, beefy guy, and he bounces. Like, he literally springs off the ground and goes all the way to the top of the porch. You have bipolar weather. Yeah, it's still so much pollen here. It has me all stuffy. So I didn't get to hear all the way to the end of Mama T's. Did she get to a point where she realized that it wasn't Kemper's Pecker Pick and it wasn't Southern Girl emailing her? Did she ever just accept that? Something else happened this weekend. Yes, I do have an email address. Let me put it in the chat for you. So I did pop in for a minute when Atil was on this weekend, All Things in Life. And she said that she is not coming back. No, I told her a long time ago when I did that video. I think it's called Let's Talk It Out or something like that. I don't know. But I had told it till a long time ago, that she needed to take her channel into a different direction because she wasn't cut out for and wasn't equipped to deal with what would ensue if she kept going the way she was going. And I think she took offense to that because she's unblocked a lot of people, but I'm still blocked. So, and I didn't mean anything bad by it. It's just I don't think that she is equipped to handle some of the crap that can come upon you when you go pushing people's buttons. Oh, she just ended and said, I don't know who it was. It says SG. I didn't see anything on there that said SG. Nothing about. I mean, like the fact that she knows that Southern Girl's name is not Jody Lee or whatever it was. Nobody in here is attacking Mama T, Alexa. I'm not calling her a drug addict. All I said is she needs to verify her information. I haven't said one thing out of pocket about Mama T since I've been on here. And a lot less people will be talking about her if she'd quit getting herself in these situations. She can't just go around saying stuff and pissing people off and expecting people not to react. That's not the way the world works. I'm being very kind and respectful about Mama T. I understand. Okay, you're not saying me. I was going to say, because I try really hard to just say things to the point and without an ounce of emotion behind it. The facts are the facts, and she's got to stop doing this. I want to help her. I'll help her learn how to research a case or research situation. She was told last night how to verify something through Google Images. I don't know if she's on drugs. I know she takes pain medicine. Anything beyond that, I don't have any concrete proof, so I'm not going to say it as if I do. I get that it's frustrating to hear people constantly talking about someone you like. I get it. I have people constantly talking about people I like. I can't let it get to me, though. The shit'll work itself out in the wash. You just got to be honest and be mindful of what you're saying and how to say it. This whole thing is frustrating for everyone because not only is Mama T getting talked about and people accusing her of doing everything under the sun, but you got someone being talked about. Did you know that sending nude pictures to someone just, without them wanting that crap, if you keep doing it, it can be considered sexual harassment. And you're basically pinning that on this person because you have other people that are hearing that this happened and they just have a bone to pick with Kemper. And so they're like, oh, yeah, I heard about that too. Next thing you know, you got 50 people saying it, and it's not even true. It is sad that, and people are always going to be at each other. There's always going to be people that don't get along. And the thing is just the way I get through it, I don't insert myself into anyone's crap. I will always be there for a friend if they need me, but they're going to have to reach out and say, hey, I need your help, because I'm not going to. Most of these problems that people have with each other happened long before I came along, or it happened at a time that maybe I wasn't around. It just has nothing to do with me, basically. But I will always be there for a friend that needs me, that needs to talk, or needs me to speak about something and give a different perspective to try to make people see. I can't force anyone to see things in any way other than what they choose to see it as. And for everyone, it's going to be different. Like what I see is not going to be what all of you see. I look at things differently. We all look at things differently. That's why we're going to get up here on the other side of the camera and sit, well, not on the other side of the camera for me, because I'm just not about that. We have a responsibility to be careful with what we say. No, there was no face shown. The pecker pick that I saw was just 2 legs with a black triangle scribbled out. And last night, right as I was typing it, Kimber said, "There's no way that's me because it's about 5 shades darker than I am." I was typing that in the chat right as he said it, and I was like, no offense, but because you can just tell he's not hanging out at the tanning bed. I'm pretty white too, so I'm very pale. Let's see. Yeah, I know. There was that whole RSO thing, and that was like forever and a day. And I just feel like anytime, I feel like Mama T has such a grudge against Jimbo and Kemper. Like she's really hanging on to stuff. See, when crap like this happens, I try to like put myself in that person's shoes and try to think about, okay, what's making her just be so quick to jump on them? And the things I keep hearing her say over and over are, you doxed my whole family and did this and that. So I feel like you got to get down to the meat of the problem. Like get down through all the gristle and all the fat and all that stuff and really get down to it and find out what is causing this constant anger and hatred and animosity. And for me, I think that's what it is. Like, because every time something happens, it goes back to that. Well, they did this to me. Okay, it happened months ago. You just got to let it go. If not for the sake of your channel and everything else, for yourself, like let it go. But it seems like every time something comes up, someone just has to attach Jimbo or Kemper's name to it, and she's all about it, and that's where it goes, because that starts the ball rolling. So to kind of, piggyback off what Downeaster Alexa said, with people talking about Mama T, it's this crap that gets the ball rolling. People don't just wake up one day and say, hey, I'm going to go talk about Mama T all day. Something happens. And then you have people who support Jimbo and Kemper who are all pissed off because now you got Mama T and everybody in her chat talking about people they like. And it's just a vicious cycle. Can't call it a mistake at this point. She has taken so many egregious and damaging things about people and done zero homework. Yes. Again, is it intentional? Is she intentionally not looking into this stuff because she doesn't care that it affects someone? Like, those are things she needs to think about. But people are going to get tired of this, Hell, I would just like take a step back and take a minute to process things and verify stuff, just because I'd get tired of everyone jumping down my throat all the time. I have about 187 cases, that I would be glad to slide a couple over to her if she wants to cover some cases. But I would want to make sure that she, handled them correctly. She doesn't own all of her mistakes, Alexa. I'm going to disagree with you there. No disrespect, but she doesn't own all her mistakes. Owning your mistake isn't saying, yeah, I did that, but it was because of this. Because that's just giving yourself an excuse. That just goes back to what I said about you got to let this shit go eventually. Yes, scapegoat. Hearing about all the BS is draining. It's emotionally exhausting. Especially when you have someone nosy like me. And it's not just that I'm nosy, it's that I want to have all my facts. So I find myself trying to watch everything just so I can hear it all, straight from the horse's mouth, than just a comment in a chat saying, "Did you see what so and so said?" It'll drive me nuts. If I see a comment in a chat saying, "Did you see what this person said?" I'm going to like drive myself nuts trying to find out where this person said that. So I just kind of try to eliminate some of the work and try to watch it firsthand, but you just can't. It's so bleh. It's exhausting. It really is. Because there's so many more important things that people could be talking about. If she cared, she would not go off half-cocked. Yeah. And I saw people in her chat trying to respectfully tell her, slow your roll a little bit, but I know when she's up there and like it feels like she's getting attacked from every direction, I'm sure it flusters her a little bit and she's not reading like if you notice that when she's just having a regular stream and just, chit chatting or whatever, she reads every single comment. But what I noticed today is like when everything was coming at her and she was trying to find screenshots and trying to find this email, and you got people yelling at her and messages and Facebook calls and everything under the sun, that can be a little jarring. But it's like, why keep putting yourself through that? Like, I understand she apologized to Kemper. She did. I heard it. She apologized during her stream. The better thing to do, though, would be to reach out to him personally and apologize, because when you apologize personally, that to me means more than doing it publicly. Do I think that you still have an obligation to correct your information publicly? Yes. So to me, the better choice would be contact the person one-on-one, apologize, and then come on your channel and say, look, I was wrong about this. This is not the case. And just leave it at that. When you keep going on and on and on, and I can prove this, blah, 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 and all your proof is not adding up, then you got to take a step back and just own it. That's the part where she needs to come in and own her mistake and cut it off. She has the power to stop it. But because she's not being so genuine and sincere and final with, what happens, then it kind of leaves everything up in the air. Because don't get me wrong, it's going to keep going on back and forth a little bit. There's going to be more said about it either later tonight or tomorrow. People are still going to have questions. There's just no conclusion. Like, there needs to be an end, a period. He doesn't keep on about the apology about the RSO. What he keeps on about, and unfortunately, you're not going to like this, I agree with him, is because I can tell you in all my videos what I talked about. It's her responsibility to go find that content of hers where she calls him an RSO and take it down. He shouldn't have to go do the work and say it's this video and this video and this one. That's not his job. So he accepts the apology about calling him that, but the fact that the content is still out there for people to see, it kind of undoes that apology. So that's what he's frustrated with. I see people arguing about that and bringing that up all the time, but that is the problem at this point, is the fact that the content is still up. People who have not been here throughout this entire shit show can go look at it anytime, and they don't know any better. So that content needs to be removed. And if she has to listen, skim through every video she has, then that's what she needs to do in order to get those videos down. And if she did that, then I can pretty much assume that situation is done and over with, right? What more is there to be mad about? She's apologized. She's removed the videos. that should be the end of it. Now, I can't speak for Kemper. I'm just saying, from what I know of him, I think that's how he would handle it, because from what I've heard him say, that's the issue, is the fact that the content is still up for anyone to see. And then I'll be damned if you don't turn around and now there's this out that people are hearing about him. So by this point, I completely understand why he's good and ticked off. I would be. But it is going to be bus stop time soon. I think I covered just about everything I wanted to cover, but make sure you go over and subscribe to the RAINN channel. It tells you everything you need to know. Share out their videos, because like I said, essay awareness doesn't just, it doesn't end on the last day of April. It needs to be an ongoing thing, because if you were to walk down a busy street in your town, probably 3 out of the 5 people that you come across have suffered some sort of SA or worse. Yes, the whole community is a mess. That's why I just kind of stay in my own little bubble and do my own little thing. I'm not out to hurt anybody. I don't go out of my way to be mean to people. It has to be baby steps. If you really want to clean up this godforsaken cesspool corner of YouTube, it's got to be baby steps, and it has to be a group effort. Is everyone going to always agree on everything? No, that would be boring. But you just have to learn how to fight fair, Where there's drama, there's always going to be content, right? Everyone always has an opinion. I have an opinion about all of it too. I just don't have the time to come on and talk about it. Kara, I love you too. No, at this point, I'm going to say no. The apology really is no good, because until that content's gone and people can't see it anymore, there's always the opportunity for a new person to come in, and that's the interpretation they have. They actually get a lot of views without drama. I mean, let's be honest, drama streams are always going to get more views. Had I been talking about something really dramatic or had a catchier title or something that sounded dramatic, we would have more than 24 people in here right now. But, I'm coming on at a time of day like right behind some drama that just happened. I know that there's people out there saying, is anyone going live talking about this? I know how it works. My feelings aren't hurt though. I mean, people will watch it. The people that need to see this will watch it. I wanted today to be about RAINN though, and so I want people to pull up keywords that will lead them in that direction if that's what they need. You're welcome, Alexa. I'm happy to share my opinions, and I don't, I've always had a really easygoing chat with not a lot of problems, and I welcome other people's opinions. All I ask is that everyone be adults and be respectful. But I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their Monday. We got through Monday. Oh, you're in the pickup line at school? My daughter's bus, both my kids that are still in school go to school. One goes 25 minutes away and the other one goes about 35 minutes away. So they ride the bus, and my little one gets dropped off at the end of our street, and she gets here at 4:50. Well, 3:50. My older daughter gets here at 4:50. So yeah, late in the day. They extended their school day for high school this year. Well, I'm glad that mine is graduating because I would hate to have to do this schedule next year, but they're off on Mondays, so they go longer during the day, but they're off on Monday. But you're welcome, Dutchie. I'm happy that all of you are able to join and, share it out. Anyone's welcome to use my stuff. I'm not going to strike you. Just get the information out there, and we'll keep talking about essay awareness. Later in the week, we're going to get back on the Shelby Shell trial and talk about Earn. Everyone's wondering, where's Earn? I don't really care where he is. What I do care about is he goes to court on May the 4th. I wonder if he's going to show. That'll be interesting to see. He just had a court date in New York. Don't think he went. So I haven't forgotten who he is. And trust me, even the people who like him and are able to coexist with him, I have a sneaking suspicion that they haven't forgotten who he is too. There's a time and a place for everything. Trust that. No, he's not going to go to court. Could you imagine? It's bad enough being wanted in one state, but having to look over your shoulder because you're wanted in two. My blood pressure couldn't take that. But yes, May the 4th be with him. Woo woo. But thank you all so much for your support and for being here. If you're able, please consider donating to RAINN.org, RAINN.org. It stands for Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network. But every dollar helps, right? We just said they get 88 cents of that dollar. So maybe instead of Starbucks one day this week or Dunkin' Donuts or whatever everyone gets on the way to work or school, just send $5 to RAINN. They would greatly appreciate it. And I know that tons of people nationwide would benefit from it. But as always, hug your loved ones. You never know if tomorrow is coming, and be kind to each other. Be safe out there, and I will be talking to all of you soon.